And we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning. People filter in here for a moment. Welcome to Thursday morning. We are on here every Thursday morning for some unconventional wisdom from our expert traders and longtime financial experts. Welcome to the show. We have a special guest today. His name is Coda.
Yeah, there we go.
And he wants to be on the show every single Thursday, but usually I don't let him. So this is a change of pace for him. But he swears to be good. He hasn't knocked over a flower pot, Joe, in like months.
Yes, I started to say his first appearance was he just busted in. We didn't even ask.
Mentions.
That's right.
Absolutely. However, we did hang up some Christmas lights inside. And that's been an experience with a cat, as you could imagine. They like shiny things that make sounds when you hit them. Christmas lights are like the worst possible combination for that. So, but welcome everyone. I hope everyone's been having a good week. It's been a pretty good week in the market. Nice range of movement. Today was a little bit bogged down, a little bit slow, but we've been having a great week. Joe, first of all, how did the micro moment room do today? And then we'll see how Randy's doing.
We had a decent day. We had 9.8413 over 3 trades. All 3 were Tim's. Yesterday they were up about 15.28. One Saison, 110. And the day before they were up about 5.96. Anyhow, for the week they're up right now as of today's trades, 55.0947. This is the 134th week of that service as a subscription service. We've been doing those trades for over 6 years, and we still do them. But as a subscription service, never had over or less than 100% return per week. Now, we're 55 today, so we're going to have to really shoot it up tomorrow. But that'll be okay, because we're still averaging way over 100%, because a lot of these weeks have been like 250% and that kind of stuff. So we're averaging way over 100%. But the market's just been really crazy and like I say all the time, it looks like we're trading the virus. We're not trading the stock market, we're trading the virus. But I guess as the virus reflects in the indexes that we're trading, I guess it's the same thing. So, but it's been a good week.
Awesome. It's been interesting to see how the market's reacted to all of that, kind of the fright, but also you have, Christmas season, which has always been a little bit different to trade. Around the holidays, the market just changes via people's schedules, and obviously all the increased retail activity leads to some things. Now, like Apple, for instance, is something we trade, and it is big enough to be kind of above just the holiday retail, how the sales do. But at the same time, there is a massive difference in sales and revenue for a company like Apple over Christmas, of course. So, Randy, how has your week been? How's everything going? What you been trading?
Going good this week. Nice to have the market coming back up a bit. I'm just getting up my slide here. There we go. But of course, we talked about the micro moment trading for Tim and guys today. My micro moment trading for this morning, 4 trades, 7.8% return total. So I'm just about at my daily goal, and that's one thing is I'm not quite so concerned about the percent of return. It's the dollar amount of the goal for the day. So I have a goal for each day of how much I want to generate. And then when I hit that goal, I don't have to trade that anymore. I don't have to take on any additional risk in the market. I just say, that's my goal. It's like going to a job. Yeah. Like most people, when they go to their job, they work a certain number of hours and then they go home. They don't go, hey, I've worked that many hours today. Let me work a few more. That's not typically what you do. You earn your paycheck for the day and then you go home and then you start again the next day. That's the same thing with micro moment trading. It's like a daily paycheck. You do your trading and you hit your goal, and then you're done. Go do something else. Don't sit there. The longer you sit and watch the computer, the more compelled you're going to do another trade.
Yeah.
And you're going to be compelled to do it, even though it's not exactly right to follow the rules. But your brain's going to say, "Oh yeah, this is another good one. I've been here for a half hour. I haven't done anything. Oh, this is a good one right here. Let me do that." And then that's the one you're going to lose on. So get done and go do something else. Don't sit there all day. Now, if you're doing covered calls, it's a different issue because they're longer term.
Sure.
In between Tim's micro moment trading and my covered calls is momentum trading, that we call it, which is using just our daily advanced chart. And I teach that every Monday morning of how to use the proprietary advanced chart from micro moment trading, but it's the daily view as opposed to the minute by minute view that Tim uses for micro moment. And every Monday morning I give training on that, and we always search for positions. And this Monday it was Cisco. So we entered a momentum trade on Cisco, which is trying to find the beginning of the rising cycle. And we're looking for rising cycles because overall the market is going up. Mm-hmm. So we bought the Cisco call, and the next day, on Tuesday, I sold it for a 3.8% return for one day. So now after that, then yesterday I think Cisco went down. So we got in, rode the momentum up. I got out, locked in my return, and we'll be on to another one. So every Monday we search through about 35 different charts and try to find one that's in the beginning of a rising cycle. And that can be done every day. It's just that I teach it on Monday morning. So that was another successful momentum trade. And then there's covered calls. So last week I have my covered calls, 4 positions closed out. The lowest return was 12.1% for the week, and the highest was 16.2%, and that was for one day. So that's the returns on the covered call. A covered call, for those that don't know, is you buy a stock and sell a call against it, which gives a right for somebody to buy your stock at the price that you've already decided that you want to sell it at. So what I teach on Wednesday mornings is what I call a synthetic covered call, that instead of buying the stock, I buy an option that gives me the right to buy the stock at a set price up to a set date. And then I sell a call against it, which says I'm willing to buy it at X, but I'm willing to sell it at Y. So if you want to buy it at Y, I'll sell it to you. And I get paid for that because that person that's buying that call I'm selling is giving me money up front, like renting an apartment. They're giving me the rent at the beginning of the month, not the end of the month. And I keep the rent no matter what they do throughout the course of the month. So I get called out as my goal. And I did that last week with 4 positions. This week I've entered another 4 positions. I'm being a little cautious. Like Joe said, the market doesn't really trade right now on company news. The market trades on virus news. Yeah. And especially when the news about the Omicron came out around Thanksgiving, and when the doctor that found it said, this is no big deal. It's like less than a cold, and you hardly have any symptoms, but the market sold off because it's rampant. It's gonna run all over the world. It's really contagious. And you know that there's no rhyme or reason to what's going on in the market right now. So that lends itself to what Tim does every day, because in and out of positions in a minute or less, and you don't care about what the next virus that's found, or is there a cure or not a cure, is there another vaccine, how many boosters. You don't care about any of that because you're only in it for a few seconds. You lock in your profits and you wait, and you don't have to keep doing it all day, because next day you'll be able to do it again, and the next day, the next day, and the next day. So you're out of the market totally 100% cash every day. And it doesn't matter what happens when South Africa opens up at midnight the next night and says something, it doesn't make any difference because you're starting all over whenever the market opens back up with that micro moment trade. So, I mean, it's always been a great trade, but even now with the way the market goes, it even really points even more towards doing that technique. So
The crazier.
I do the combination of all the techniques every day. I do micro moment trading, I do momentum trading, I do covered calls, I even do credit spreads. So it there's always a place for something, and I just keep finding the positions.
Well, that's why it's so important when Randy talks about only being in these things for a short time. That's why our micro moment trades are only an hour, the first hour of the trading day. But here's what's amazing, and I keep mentioning this: the $2,000 thing in the account never had any more money, compounded in 24 months, $850,000. If you just do 6% a week, this week they've done 55. Cezanne and Tim have done 55+%. If somebody just did any number of their trades, both of them have any number over 6%. If they just followed one trade and did it and forgot about it the rest of the week, in a couple of years they'd have $850,000. And from just starting off at $2,000, huge what that technique, and it's there for people to see and use and do.
I think what you said earlier, Randy, is also very valuable. Most of what we teach is focusing on the fact that this is not the only trade you're going to do. This one right now, this trade that you're in is not the only one. It is a part of a many trade series that's going to take you down a journey, and being able to get up and walk away from it after an hour, like you said, staying at work, you may have to do that one day at your normal job, but one, you're not a fan of it, and two, you're not doing it every day, because you realize if you start to add a couple hours, 3 hours, 4 hours onto each work day, you're going to start to get very tired, because you're not just there for that one day, you're there for that week, and then you have a day off, and then you're there for the next week. So these things they stack on top of each other. We have to continually keep that in the right place so that over time we can stay consistent. That is the biggest thing, is consistency. You're not going to be wealthy in one day from trading. It's just not going to be that thing.
Yeah. Mike, let me say one more thing about Randy's trading. He has a trade technique that is miraculous, particularly for people that own stock and want to own stocks. And they don't particularly maybe like some of these techniques we use. They say, I just want to own the stock. It's a technique where you can take your stock that pays a dividend, and usually dividends 2 or 3% a year. And he has this technique where you sell a call. You already own the stock, so you don't need to buy it, but you sell a call, a near month call. And there's no way you're going to ever get called out for a loss. It's impossible. And you're going to add on the return of that call. Now, that may add that 2 or 3% return that you're getting in dividends. It may boost it up to over 10. However, I've been researching and found some really, really good stocks that are paying 8 and 9% dividends. First call. Wow. I'm going to get these to Randy, because he can take that and do such a huge example using that stock that's already paying an 8% dividend. My goodness, he sells one call average a month. I mean, it'll be way over 25, 30%. It'll be huge.
Mm-hmm. And Joe, I can actually go through that tonight, because on Thursday night I teach a small group cover call coaching session where people subscribe to that and they come in.
I'll email it to you. I'll email it to you this afternoon. It's just 2 stocks, and then you can use those as examples.
Yep, yeah. Send it to me. I'll go through that process and technique tonight on the small group coaching session. And not only can you do that every month, but many stocks have weekly options, and you can actually generate income every week against that stock that you're going to own that you don't want to sell, and you never have to sell that stock. You just generate extra income week after week after week while you're waiting for those dividends and holding on to the stock, whatever you love it for, and you don't want to sell it. That's fine. You can still generate income against it and not have to sell it.
Yeah, just keep renting it and renting it and renting it. Of all our techniques, Randy, what you do is, I mean, nothing is a sure thing in trading, but I'll tell you that system is as close to foolproof as I have ever seen, especially with all the ways that you can manage your trade positions while you're in a trade. You have a solution for everything. How you manage it. I mean, it's just amazing. What you have what is it, 174-page book on doing this, and it's just amazing. I can't recall a time when you said, "Wow, I screwed up on that position." I really took a bath on that position. I've never heard those words come out of your mouth. So
Yeah.
No, and that's one of the important things, Tim, about everything that we do, whether it's you're in and out of trades in micro moments, or the cover calls. Everything is rule based. We have a whole set of rules. If this happens, this is what you do. If that happens, here's what comes next. It's a whole set of rules, not only for selecting new positions, which is critical, but also for what happens. If they go up, this is what happens. If they go down, this is what happens. And each step along the way generate more income. And so it's not a speculative, it's not I think this one is going to go up, so I'm going to do this. It's all based on the rules, following the charts, and having a next step if it doesn't go the way that everything said it was supposed to go. And so that's what makes the covered call more conservative than basically any type of technique out there in the stock market. And what makes it even more conservative is the way that we do it are in the money covered calls. That's not what the market talks about, because they're all about speculation. They're all about buying or selling out of the money calls and then hoping that it goes up. We find stocks that look like they're going to be going up, but we do in the money covered calls, so they can even go down and we still get our profit and still get all of our money back. And that is what makes the conservative in the money covered calls that we show how to construct and manage, makes it be what I would say is the most conservative way of generating good income. I mean, you can be real conservative, and I don't know if it's even conservative to put your money in the bank anymore and get a 0.25% a year interest when inflation's at 6%. I'm not sure that's even conservative. That used to be considered conservative, but I don't know if that is anymore. But as far as being trading in the stock market, the in the money covered call is really the as conservative as I know how to do.
yeah, absolutely. And then coming over to MMT, our system has just one rule, and that is when the tick turns, you get out. That's it. It is as about the simplest way to trade that there is. We're in and out of trades in less than a minute. We're in cash 98% of the time. We never hold anything overnight. Because our trade durations are so short, there's really no rules that we can apply in terms of management. The only management rule we have is get out when it turns. We teach you how to recognize patterns on our ICE charts, our proprietary charting system, which is the key to what we do, which shows the beginning of momentum phases. It shows us clearly when the momentum is turning from a put to a call. And we teach you very precisely how to select those endpoints. And in addition, you get to watch what we're doing in real time. But here's the really exciting stuff. In less than a month, very soon, you're going to be able to track my trades in real time. I mean, as I enter that trade, you will see it. You'll see everything. You'll see when I exit. Full transparency in what we do. You'll see how many contracts I put in. If I lose, I'll lose in real time, and you'll see it happen. We don't lose much, but there are occasional losses. But the exciting thing is you can see it all in real time as it happens. And I know no other service that has that feature. So that's very cool about what's coming up.
Absolutely.
Micah, you're
What? Go ahead.
no, I was going to say you're in the middle of the know. You're in the inner circle of what's going on. Can you tell us any other cool things that are coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to touch on that for a second though, like you guys were talking about. I think when I first started trading and learning to trade, I mean, I there was, just figuring out the whole world. There was a lot of like theoretical, um, theoretical ideas to improve. Like, okay, I'm struggling in my trading. What's going wrong? Well, it could be one of these 800 things. So start checking off the boxes and trying. And then by the time you fix something else is broken. And I just want to highlight again how important it is to have actual steps to take when you're in that position. If you're in a position you've never been in before, because, you're learning, how do you actually go about fixing that situation? And if there is concrete steps to take, no matter what's going wrong in your trading, then over time you can succeed. Otherwise, you're just chasing your tail for so long. And we'll talk about that more on Saturday with Tim. By the way, we're having a seminar on Saturday that we'll talk a little bit more about. But the the one kind of big thing I would say, Tim, that we're bringing into the core of what we do is we have a new platform for a trading journal. Now, what this is obviously everyone knows what a journal is. It's a place digitally to put your trades and track them. Now, Randy said something very important earlier. He said you can start fresh every day, right? Now, in your energy, right? You don't want to spend all day trading so that you're tired the next day, so that you can start fresh. But in your learning, you don't want to have to start fresh every day, right? In your learning, you want to take steps and move forward. And once you get something, you got it. You can move on. You can step forward. When you just let your trading reset every day, you have to relearn those lessons, and they cost you real money every time. So how we're going to show Tim's trades, I mean, we're gonna put we're going to be able to have multiple screens on our webinar soon, so you'll be able to see the charts and the platform. That's more to learn the operation of it, but we're going to be uploading everything to that trading journal and then sharing that with you guys as well, so that you can track your trades, mark what kind of setup it is, mark everything about it. Hello, kitty. You can also mark the mistakes you've made, so that you can go back on your month and say, hey, I stayed in too long 3 times. And every time I did that, it accounted for 90% of my losses. 90% of the money I lost this month was due to this one reason. That gives you a concrete thing to attack and ultimately fix. So I'd say that's the biggest thing that we're going to bring in all together. It's called Trader Sync, and we'll have links on the seminar as well to share that with you guys. It's only going to be for our traders and clients, but we're going to really integrate it into everything we do, because concretely seeing this is what works and this is what doesn't every day is just so valuable. So yeah, that's the biggest thing we have coming down the pipe. We're going to use it. You guys are going to use it. And we're going to teach it. And then, to the situation of one-on-one coaching, we're starting up that. Tim has a link, and then we're eventually going to have all of our coaches accessible to you for one-on-ones. That's not going to be well, how do you feel when you're trading? Oh, well, you mess this up, maybe. It's going to be an expert trader that's been doing this for 10, 20 years, looking at what you're doing and being able to see on the screen right there, oh, this is what you're doing. Know, what that experience was like going through it for them, and having helped other people that have gone through that one issue. We're just going to be able to tackle those and fix them and genuinely improve your track record going forward, because we have, an actual thing to attack. That's going to be absolutely massive.
One thing one thing about that, Micah, I get, it seems like hundreds of emails throughout the course of the week from all kinds of quote trading services. Somehow you get on some kind of mail list and you get sometimes 10 and 20 from the same place, but they send them from different areas, whatever. But so I look through those and they talk about, oh, returns of 1,082% and this. And then you read through it and it says, well, this is based on back testing. It's a brand new technique that we're thinking about, but we put it through the computer for the last 3 years. And if you would have done it for the last 3 years, here's what you could have had. Well, why would you sign up for something that you don't even see anything that's real? What Tim is talking about, you're going to see it. These are returns we're actually doing right now at the moment. It's not, this is what the computer said could have happened 2 years ago. And Mike has said, we're taking it to another even level. Tim talked about, you're going to see it. This is actually right now. This is exactly what we're doing. And so it's not this might have been what could have been. This is actually what's going on and taking place. And by the way, while you were talking, I did another micro moment trade, 1.8% return. So now I've got 5 done. I've almost hit my target for the day. One more trade and I'll probably have it. But oh man, if I'd have stayed in that one, look at that. The S&P just shot up there. I was in that call, got 1.8%, but it's still going up.
Nice.
What you're
But
saying
anyway,
exactly right.
you don't go back and look at that. You don't say, whoa, I could have. You
Right.
just say, I got a profit. I'm great. Let's wait for the next one. There's always going to be another opportunity that presents itself.
Yep. And we've done that for years, right? Just the fact that all of our teaching sessions are live. You in the room, you're aware of that the trade is happening before we exit even. And our trades are very short, right? So it's always been that real time. Now we're going to have so much more of a tool to catalog and learn from every trade and look back at the week. Because guess what? We're human beings. We woke up, we drank our coffee this morning. I drank a few more cups than everyone else, I'm sure, but
No. I'm on my second pot already.
Okay, second pot. I'm still halfway through my first one. So
Micah, when we do our micro moment thing in the morning, we can get comments from our clients on what they're doing.
yeah,
And every morning, it's always the same thing. Well, I just made 10 cents on 3 trades, 3 different trades, 10 cents on each one, just made 30 cents. I just did a trade. I was only in it for 7 seconds. We say, it should be in probably average 15, 16 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. But people doing these things well within that 15 second, 16 second.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that comes down to, I think like as you get better, your trades get shorter. Because when you're not as experienced, you'll enter a trade and it'll bounce around and then do what you want and then bounce around a little more and then you'll finally decide to exit. As you start to refine that, you start to narrow off that first bit of bouncing you have to wait through, and then you catch that bit that actually matters, right? It's more effective in a shorter amount of time. It's not that we are catching less of the chart, but we're prioritizing when the move is actually happening so that we don't have to sit through the bounce. If it's still bouncing, it could go the other way, right? It just increases risk. So catching, we call it the sweet spot, is super important for that. Absolutely, Joe.
Well, that's what the charts do. Our charts, proprietary chart, our advanced charting is telling you when to do it, telling you when to get in, telling you when to get out.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so much packed into our ICE charts, our charting system, that all the technicals that you would have separated out if you're doing this on your own is baked into our charts, which makes them very, very accurate. And once you learn how to read these, which is very simple, we can teach you how to read these in about 5 minutes, and look for the patterns and look for the momentum changes. Whether you're a momentum trader or a breakout trader or a technical trader, our charts really encompass all 3 of those trading styles within. So I've just never seen charts that laid it all out as simply as ours do. If you can draw a vertical line from top to bottom, you can absolutely see when a trade is coming up or when a trade is possible. So it's very simple with our charts. But I want to go back to something that Mike and Randy were touching on, just the value of reviewing your trades. And with this new tool, TradeSync, you have so many different ways of unpacking a trade to really pinpoint what's going right or what's going wrong. And recently it's helped me correct something that I was aware of, but I just couldn't quite fix it. And it just became very apparent in my trades. What I was doing, was able to fix that, and my trading is back to where it should be. And it's because of TradeSync that's helped me do that. So, but the value of reviewing your trade is so important. You'll never overcome a habit or what's going wrong if you do not have that direct feedback from either other people or a program that's specifically designed to ferret out those issues for you, as this does. So very important.
Well, how do you know where to start if you don't truly know what the issue is? You know.
Exactly. What was it Einstein who said the brain that created the issue is incapable of solving the issue?
Yeah.
Something like that.
You have to update the software first, right?
Yeah.
No, it's absolutely true. The way I think of it is like, trading over time can kind of be like a boxing match, and this is going to be kind of silly, but it's going to make sense, I promise. But it can, once it gets complicated, it can kind of be like a boxing match with a four-armed gorilla. This is literally how I think of it: is a four-armed gorilla that's swinging at you with its boxing gloves on. Not keeping track of of anything and just doing one at a time and just winging it willy-nilly is like turning the lights off in that situation. You need to be able to see where those arms are coming from, and know what you're actually getting hit with, so that you know when to duck. If those lights are off and you're just flying blind into all this, you're not going to know even where it is around you. So starting to gain those things is really, really valuable. It's going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's fantastic. And then we have Tim. Do you want to let us know what we'll be covering this Saturday?
Sure, absolutely. So as Micah mentioned, we are doing a micro moment intensive on Saturday, and some of the things we're going to be talking about are trading mindset. We're going to go through option basics and terminology. We are going to deconstruct the spaghetti monster line by line and go through specifically what everything does. We'll pull it all together into what makes a good setup, entry, and exit. We're also going to look at a thinkorswim setup and help folks who are brand new with the setup. We're going to look at the anatomy of a trade on TOS, how to execute a trade. We're going to talk about what the market maker does. We're going to talk about support and resistance. Micah is going to come on in the morning, and he's going to talk about TraderSync, our powerful trade analysis tool. And we'll probably do some trade reviews with TradeSync. We're also going to talk about trading Apple, the 6 patterns. We're going to spend some time on the gap play, on the first minute play, the second minute play that Cezanne and I have been doing almost every morning for the past 6 months, that has had north of a 90% positive trade. We're going to talk about how that works. And we're also going to get into dealing with losses. And that's pretty much what our day is going to look like.
It's going to be fantastic. Intensive indeed. Is this a good place for beginners to start?
Absolutely. If you're brand new, if you're considering MMT or considering any one of our services, this is a great place to start. Really, the first part of the day is going to be devoted to the beginning trader, to give you everything you need to know to make your first trade. And then, of course, we'll transition into more advanced stuff for our other more advanced traders, but good place for beginners.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Yeah, there is, we're really focusing on refining that process to make it a clear transition from I don't know what a share of stock is. I've heard of stocks, but I don't know what a share is, to the point of actually being able to execute a virtual trade, right? Your first virtual trade, to practice and start learning those patterns and buttons and what it means when the white line goes up. And we've been learning how to communicate that in a very simple way and bringing everything up to the point it needs to be for you to understand. So I'm really excited to see that seminar, and then it will get even more simplified after that. This is one of our last ones in kind of our older format. We're bringing a lot of the new concepts into practice, and then we are revamping a lot of that teaching structure so that we can be so much more effective in our coaching. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's for if somebody wants to learn the process that you do, Tim, every morning. You're going to give a whole seminar this Saturday from A to Z, beginning from scratch, like I don't know a thing about anything, all the way to here's how you can be a successful micro moment trader, right?
Yes, sir. That's
all
well said.
That's all going to be online. And how do they sign up for that?
Yeah, they go over to micromomenttrading.com, and you'll find a link there to sign up for the class tomorrow.
Perfect. Is it under a certain tab or anything?
That is a good question. Let's go over there right now.
Is it under courses?
I think it's under courses, yes. Let me just go over there and go under courses.
I'm going to go out there too and see.
Monday Micro Moment. Okay. Yeah, if you go over to our site, click on courses, pull down that menu, the first one you'll see is the 1 Day Micro Moment. And you'll see a registration tool for that right there. And we will start at 9 a.m. Central Time, 10 a.m. Eastern. And we'll go through as long as we have questions. We're slated to stop at 5 p.m. We'll probably end an hour earlier than that, but we want to leave plenty of time for questions.
Yeah, absolutely. That's when the real that's where the real value is. The real, you know, everything that really sticks with you. We've found that no matter how many different ways we explain things as well, it's always more valuable, even as like a follow-up, to be able to ask a question. Everybody learns in a different way. This is something that we don't really have in our education system currently. We assume that learning is a very linear path of reading and memorization, and then everybody just gets it all of the sudden. But one thing we're going to talk about on Saturday is the generation effect. There's been numerous studies from University of New Hampshire, different places, over the last, I think, 15 years. They started in 2006, 2007, comparing basically cognition and memory of reading something and to learn it versus generating something, the generation effect, right? What this means in the form of taking notes, or in the form of a trade journal, or in the form of asking a question. If you're learning information through generating the question in your mind, generating the concept in your mind, and then discovering the answer via you figuring it out, the memory of it and the application of it, again, they're still studying it, so it's not distinct numbers, but it's vastly far and away just reading something, especially larger amounts of information, right? We've all been reading a book and really enjoying it, and then after a few hours, we realize we've been reading the same sentence over and over again and really not absorbing it, right? So the power of asking questions, taking notes, taking a trade journal, really being involved in your learning process, it will multiply your results. And I do mean that. The difference when you're that engaged in your learning process, it's absolutely incredible. So
Absolutely.
I try
Okay.
to make it as interactive as possible all the time. But fantastic. Well, if there's no questions, probably about wrapped up here. Gentlemen, where are the markets at right now? What can we expect coming into next week? Obviously, here we don't tell the future; we play in the real time. But is there anything major to watch out for? Any Fed announcements that we should know?
Seems
Yes.
like well, maybe Ray. It seems like every day it's just Inspire stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Big news next week, though. The Federal Open Market Committee, the FOMC, most people call it the Fed, right? Their 2-day meeting in December starts on Tuesday. Wednesday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern time is their announcement. That's when they're going to talk about, are they changing interest rates, or how soon might they change interest rates? Are they stopping the tapering, slowing the tapering, speeding the tapering? What do they look at for the economic forecast? All that stuff comes out, and that usually causes major swing in the market one way or the other. Who knows which way it's going to go, but usually a swing Wednesday afternoon, and then some follow-on on Thursday and Friday, depending on what was the market expecting, what do they think they heard, and how do those two coincide with each other. So yeah, expect there could be some changes. Could be up, could be down, but that's a major thing for next week.
But Randy, what difference does it make to us? I know in micro moment, we're just trading activity. We don't care which way it's going. So
no, it doesn't make any. I mean, that's the good thing about what Tim, in and out in 15 or 20 seconds. It doesn't make any difference. I wouldn't necessarily get in right at 2:00 Eastern time next week, though.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, but other than that, and you're usually out in the morning after the first hour anyway.
Yeah.
But from a overall market perspective, it could be a little exciting next week, going into that Fed announcement.
Yeah, and we may be back. We may be back on for a second session Wednesday afternoon. Probably get on a few minutes before the announcement and see if we can pick on that volatility and momentum that comes out.
Yeah,
of
there'll
that.
be some. There's usually some really good movement for those that next 45 minutes or so.
Yeah. So we'll probably do that. Put that on your calendar. Other than that, let's say there is no major announcements coming out of. We are heading into we're well into the Christmas season, which is generally a slower time for the markets. We have been on such a bull rampage here for a while that we may see some minor retracements, some pulling back, following more climb. But I think we'll see some tempered pullbacks happen. But like Randy was saying, the Fed announcements could blow it all out of the water anyway. So we'll see what happens. It doesn't matter to us. We love volatility. We love when things affect the market because our trades are so short in duration. We jump in on a rising tick or a lowering tick. We make our money, we get out, and we're in cash, and we just love it.
Yeah, it goes back to our old pole dancer concept. The same thing with micro moment. It doesn't make any difference if the girl's at the top of the pole or at the bottom of the pole, just so she's moving.
We'll never really, give much of an indication of like a climb or a downtrend over time, because again, we can't tell the future, right? But if anything's going to make the market move more, we'll always talk about that and mention like a Fed. I mean, I've seen 400 to 500 point Dow swings in minutes over Fed announcements. So, also cautionary for new traders. It's a great place to make money. But if you're a little newer, it's good to watch that happen a couple times. It's pretty intense. If you're not, ready for that, you can, so just
Yeah.
be ready to observe and get used to that super
But
high volume.
Michael, that's the beauty of virtual trading.
Absolutely.
Because they can they can trade up, I guess, close to $100,000 in virtual trading and not risk anything. So when you really become good and then go and flip the switch and spend your own money.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Exactly. Before any of this happens, you got to know which buttons to press and when. Yeah. We've all at some point in our careers have bought a call when we meant to buy a put. It does happen, and you got to learn what buttons to press. You're not exactly opposite of what you're trying to do. It's like when you're taking a video and you start the recording right as you're done with whatever you were trying to.
Yeah, and Mike, back in the olden days, Randy, and I remember this when you had dial-up, and the trading platforms were so slow, and you hit something, you thought you buy it, you never saw it, so you hit it again, you hit it again. You end up buying 3 times what you thought you were going to buy.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
But one of the critical things, and everyone's going to make a mistake once in a while, as soon as you know you made a mistake, reverse it quickly. Get out of it. Yeah. Don't stay in the thing that is going the opposite of what you thought you were going to be doing, and then hoping that it's going to turn. As soon as you go, oh, I wanted to hit a call and I hit a put. Quick, get out. Don't stay in it, because the put's going to go down when the call goes up, and that's everybody, all of us. We still will make a mistake every once in a while, and either because we're rushing or we didn't pay attention or the platform looked differently than what we thought. But as soon as you realize, change it. Don't wait on it. Don't look at it 3 days later and go, oh, wow, I thought I did this. Get out quickly. I mean, the moment that you go, no, what's going on? Change.
That's right. And and the great thing is you can do it all virtually. Don't have to risk a penny until you're ready.
And that's what's really nice, Tim. And I think you'll probably talk about it on Saturday, but don't they get like a 2-week free trial or something to give you a shot? And they can do that all virtually while they're learning, and they can be following your teaching every day. Absolutely.
If you go over to micromomenttrading.com right now, you can sign up for a free 2-week trial of MMT. You can, set up a platform on TOS and virtually trade. And honestly, you get a good, thorough experience of MMT that doesn't cost you a penny.
Yep.
And you're not risking anything, because you're virtual trading out there in the market while you're learning, and you can actually see, hey, there is really results here. You can generate income.
That's right. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for all the information, guys. It's been a super helpful day. We'll be back next Thursday at 10 a.m. Central with more information. Have your questions ready. Feel free to drop them in at the beginning so that we can get to all of them and give you guys some great answers to anything you may be wondering. There's quite a bit of experience, so feel free to utilize that.
Okay. See y'all later.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good time Saturday.
Oh, yeah. We will.
Bye.
Bye-bye.